You got to see live first. There it is.
Okay, got it. Hey, welcome to Live, Love, Laugh, and Let Go Out Loud with Lynn Serrano. But I'm not Lynn Serrano. I'm Debbie Bettendorf, and I have the honor today of guest hosting her amazing show where she's going to give it to us straight and tell us about her life's journey that hasn't been the best at some times, but she is such a positive person. Please stay tuned for her story, but let me tell you one thing before I bring her on. I met Lynn at a time where it was just meant to be. I don't believe in coincidences. But very shortly after we had met, she told me, "I love you, Debbie." And it was like, kind of like, I've only known you for a minute. But let me tell you something. The Lynn you are about to meet, and perhaps for the first time, loves all human beings. And when she says that she loves you, she means it. And of all people, after you hear her story, she could have been angry and bitter for the way some things have happened to her in her life. But you know what? She isn't. And when she says, "Debbie, I love you," I say, "I love you back." And all of us can learn from her and love one another a little bit more, love each other, even if you don't really know one another. Just love our human race. Okay. So let me take a second and give you a little intro, and I'll bring Lynn on so she can share her amazing story. Hey, Lynn, here you are on your own show. I'm going to give it to you straight today, just like you did me.
Wow, I should have interviewed you like a long time ago so I don't get paybacks, or I know what paybacks are
Yeah.
could be. So thank
Yeah.
you so much.
I'm so happy you're here on your own show. Thank
Well,
you for being here.
thank you. I'm honestly really super nervous, but I'm also doing a little producing on the side, so
Oh,
not to
yeah.
interfere with the story, but I want to say hi to some of our guests really quick. Larry, I got to meet in person. I love him so much, and it makes me feel really good that somebody that I met recently is here. So thank you, Larry. That support means the most to me. And so,
Okay.
Carrie, thank you. And Tammy, I met in person, and thank you for being here. And Darlene, thank you for being here. So go ahead, Miss Hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, host. I've never done this before, but I'm so excited and honored to do it, Lynn. You having me a guest host your show. So, what I want to ask you is, first of all, let's just start with maybe people who are watching do not know you, and I know part of your story. So, tell me a little bit about, like, where were you born? Where were you raised? Where are you now?
Well, before I start, I want to say thank you to this lady right here because as I share a little bit of my story, I actually wrote a book and she actually
Oh
helped
my gosh,
me.
I didn't share it live, Lynn.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't share live
I
yet?
didn't share it live.
Oh,
This
that's okay. That's okay. Share live.
okay.
As I start talking here, she helped me with proofing reading my book here. So I really thank you so much for that. And Larry here, Debbie the rock star. Yes. Okay. So your question. So I'm going to be really quick on some of this because I did write a book and some of the stuff's in the book. So, but I grew up in Long Island and I grew up with two parents that only spoke Spanish for 5 years of my life in Spanish at home. And then I went to school and then I started learning English and
Mhm.
it was hard to understand. So I didn't tell anybody that I spoke Spanish at home because last name Serrano, it wasn't Garcia or Hernandez. So they didn't know. So
Yeah.
I stayed
So
very quiet. And so I
right.
was
So you went to school as a Spanish speaking student, and how did you hide that you were Spanish speaking in an English, I'm assuming an English speaking school, correct? In Long Island?
yeah, they just asked if I spoke Spanish at home. I said no. And so I just stayed
Okay, so
quiet.
you were bilingual already at
Yes.
5. Oh,
Yeah.
got you. Okay. And the reason though that you didn't want them to know that you
Be-
spoke Spanish at home was
because they kept all the kids that spoke Spanish in one classroom. They segregated them. And the other kids would talk about them being low lifes and not good people and things like that. And so I stayed quiet. I didn't want to be segregated and talked about being a bad person. I didn't
oh,
feel like I was a bad person. So
yeah.
I didn't want to be treated
Any
different.
differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So then
So,
you went on and you continued your schooling in
yep.
Long Island
Yep.
until what age?
Till
All
I was 11 and a half, and then we ended up moving to Syracuse, but I went through some stuff before moving to Syracuse at night at 3, 4 years old, 5 years old. I was sexually abused by an uncle that had Down syndrome, and then my brother's best friend sexually abused me from the time I was 9 till we moved and stuff, and then we moved to Syracuse.
Okay,
And
so
so
already, right?
mhm.
We're having, and this isn't even just stay
Yeah,
tuned,
this
everyone,
isn't even
because
what we're here to talk about.
this
This
is
isn't
not
even
what
no,
we're here to talk about.
no.
However, this is a huge piece
Mhm.
of who you are today and what you've gone
Right.
through on your life's path.
Mhm.
So then you then moved to, you were in Long Island until about 11, you said?
Mhm. Well, yeah, 11 and a
And
half.
then you moved to Syracuse, New
Yep.
York.
Yep.
And then you lived there for how long?
I lived there till I was 25 in Syracuse. But
Gotcha.
the minute I moved from Long Island to Syracuse, I had a very Long Island accent. And so I was being picked out for my heavy accent. And
Okay.
then in 6th grade, my teacher was a Canadian teacher, and he picked me out, and he found out, and he looked at my records and saw that I was Puerto Rican, and he picked out me again for being Puerto Rican, and I would never be anything. And he picked out for being Long Island and all sorts of stuff. And so it was very abusive. I was very ashamed.
Mm,
And then I was abused by several boys and whatnot. And so my parents were going through a divorce, and we ended up going and moving to the next school year. We ended up moving to a different part of town. And
okay.
so I decided, and my name was Eileen when I was born. So I've had enough at life at this point. At 12
Okay,
years
at
old, I had enough.
25, you thought,
No,
"Done
at
with you."
12, at
At
12 years
12.
old, at
But
12,
wait, when did you change your name from
at
Eileen to Lynn?
12 years
Your
old.
parents had to be a
No,
part of that, right?
no,
Changing
no.
it?
No, I changed it to
Oh,
the
just not on
school.
paper, just at school.
Put it
Oh,
this way, I don't even know how I don't know what it was about me, but I went to the school at
mhm.
7th grade, and I went to the principal and the teacher, and I said, "Listen, I go by Lynn. That's my nickname. That's my name. I will not answer. Do not tell the kids my name is Eileen." I don't know how I convinced the teachers. I went in there with the conviction in my heart and told them the kids are not to know my name. I don't know how I convinced them, but they said okay, and they
You know
let me
what,
be
Lynn? That
Lynn.
was the beginning of you taking control of your own
Yeah.
life
So
and your identity, I believe that, I really do.
so so I'll tell you though. So I went to school in 7th grade, and then I went to 8th grade. And in 8th grade, I met up with the kids that I went to school in 6th grade.
Mhm.
And it's funny because there, again, I convinced that school to say, I go by Lynn. The whole thing. I mean, like, they just knew that I was Lynn. The students were confused because they're
Yeah,
like, but you're no. And I looked at them, I said, no, it's Lynn. And they were like, I don't even
okay.
know. But they were like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
but then again, they kind of knew because they saw the abuse I went through. And they
Mhm.
just
Well,
like,
and
we
I
didn't
think
even
that
talk
people
about
can
it.
feel that energy too,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
this
they
is serious, like, my
yeah.
name has something to do with my whole identity and how I'm
They
starting anew and
right.
all that, so good for you to
Yes.
even at that young of an age to say,
But then
I'm"
there's a kind of funny story in there, and I'll say it really quick, is that, one time, and it's in the book, the kids already know, but luckily my granddaughter's not here, but one time I kinda skipped school half a day with a friend, and we kinda got in trouble for it, and, my friend, Laura's like, "Lynn, my mom's gonna be really mad that we're getting in-school suspension. You need to come to my house with me." I'm like, "Okay," and I loved her mom, and I was, like, really in trouble. I'm
"We're
like, "Oh
gonna let
my
her
gosh."
down."
Yeah. So we walked to her house, and she's like her mom's like, "Hi, Lynn, come on in, sit down," and her mom's like, she's being really nice, like, "Okay." And I'm like, "This isn't bad." She goes, "Sit, Lynn, sit down." And so I'm like, "Okay." And I open the chair, I go sit down, and then she goes, "And Laura, and
Oh.
who's this Eileen you got in trouble with?" She goes, "No, mom, it's Lynn." "Oh no, don't give me that, Missy. It was an Eileen. That's what the principal said." No, Mom, it's Lynn right here. No, Missy, it was on Eileen. She goes, no, Mom, and she goes, well, whatever your name is, get out of my house. She goes, don't call her all week. I was like, okay.
Oh
And I
man.
didn't call her and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, her
So
mom's now like, okay, my daughter's best friend has an alias. What's going on
yeah,
here? Skipping school, get the heck out of my house.
yeah.
Well, you
So
know what, Lynn? I just thought about something. You know what I would really like for you to do as a segue into your announcement of what's going on with you? Could you read the back of your book?
oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is very
And this,
yes.
once again, this is the book that she has written
Which
before all of this that she's
which
about
by
to.
by the way, I did this book, okay, April 15th on my show with Lynn and Brian. I had been telling stories, and all my shows I always sprinkle some truth about my life because I just get out of my comfort zone and I do that. And I said, boy, I should just write a book. And I had some people go, yeah, so why don't you write a book? And I was like, well, and I was going to take a trip to go see my dad in Florida. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. 3 weeks later, I had this published in Amazon, and I didn't
Good
even
for
know
you.
how I was going to publish this book.
Well, you did
So,
it, sister.
and I wrote this, and this is the back of the book. It says, this book is written authentically, unapologetically real and raw by Eileen Serrano. Life was good before it took its twists and turns in different directions. Lifetime lessons formed into the long lasting, limited belief system, yet not allowing them to defy the destinies that many tried to impose upon her, including a sixth grade teacher who was verbally abusive. Along with carrying family secrets along the way, reflections of the past bring a perspective and appreciation of life experiences. It brought out being an empath, intuitive, visionary and compassionate, inspired to help others to get rid of victim and excuse mentalities. This book is an example of overcoming your past by publishing a book in less than 30 days to instill a belief within. Most of all, keeping your word, knowing that anything is possible if you put in the work. And the thing is I wasn't even finalized to where I'm at now because
Mhm.
I didn't put in the work to the fact that going through and getting out of school early, and I tried to get out of school early when things meshed out because I was an athlete, I was into sports, and I did the best I could being an athlete, and I was also in marching band, I was in the dance squad, and I was just picked for being Thunder Thighs. I
Okay.
was always very, very athletic, and yet I looked very awkward.
Yeah.
And I was always into health and nutrition. And yet, when my parents were going through things, sixth grade to seventh grade, we would go through the summers and we would starve from Monday to Friday when we'd see my dad. And so I've had some really tough times in my life. And so, yeah. So,
Yeah, Len,
anyways,
I know you have. And you know what I want to say to everybody watching right now is that you could be really angry and bitter, and you could be so mean to people because of how people have treated you in your life. And what I'm attracted to with you, Lynn, is the fact that we've had multiple conversations. I know that people have not been kind to you, and you have chosen to go ahead and forgive them and be kind to them anyway. And my gosh, I mean, on a level, I believe in that so much. But even though I believe in that with every fiber of my being, it's very difficult for us as human beings to be nice to people who aren't nice to us. But you've done that. And like I said at the very beginning, you said you love me, and I believe you because I think you love everybody. You love every human being. And we all need to be more in that lane and also just appreciate who we are. But you know what, Lynn? You haven't been, you're always nice to everybody else. How have you been to yourself?
well, the thing is because, I'll never even forget. I went to a wedding once and this guy goes, you know, people, he looked right at me and he goes, you know, the only people that get to wear white dresses are virgins. And, you know, it, and he didn't know I was sexually abused. You know, there's so much judgment in the world, and there's so many people that know. And you watch the news and you see how people, like even the Me Too movement or this or that, you
Mhm,
see how people that when they tell their truth, how all of a sudden everybody say, "Oh yeah, but you can't believe that's true. Oh
mhm.
no, you can't believe that they must have asked for it or whatever." Now,
Yeah.
mind you, we have things that happen for us, blah, 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 and we have to take ownership and all that. And I believe that. And I've done enough of my self development. Yeah. And all that. Okay. I get all that. I've done
Mhm.
the work and I
Yeah.
know all that. However, the thing that's the problem is that looking inside, you carry that guilt
Mhm.
and you're not able to admit it to yourself or to admit it to somebody else to come clean or to feel good about it. That's the problem we have. And then it's great when somebody can feel comfortable
Mhm.
owning their story, owning who they are and feeling comfortable to tell
Yeah.
their story. So once I wrote this book, I feel comfortable about some of my stories. But the thing, like you just said, and I'm going to answer right now, is that I never was nice about the fact that I was married to a guy for 19 years that would say, "You got a beautiful face, but you're fat. Ain't nobody gonna want you as long as you're fat." We'd go a half a mile from the house and he'd go, my truck runs like shit because your fat ass is in it." You kn you know,
Yeah.
I've lived with the fact that you're just fat, and even if I lose weight, I couldn't lose so much weight. And I mean, love, health, and nutrition. You don't look like what you act, and yet that's
Well,
been
like you told me before, you worked out. How many times a day did you work out?
Well, my kids, I drop them off at school and I'd go 2 hours in the morning, go swimming and working out, and I love The Biggest Loser, and I'd go 2 hours on the elliptical at night. It doesn't matter how long I would work, I couldn't lose the weight. I'd still
Right.
be the same,
And
but
and
I'd
the
lose the weight up on top to my
yeah,
waist, and that's
yes.
it.
That's what I was gonna say. So, no matter how much weight you would lose and work out, beyond belief,
Right.
your bottom half didn't match the top
Yeah.
half, and people in your life have been so incredibly cruel to you outwardly.
Yeah.
And what I wanna say, and I for you, and I want you to elaborate on this, is the fact that what we do in life is we kind of agree with people sometimes when they're being mean to us about because you didn't like the way you looked either, but
No.
you worked and worked. So if while you were being kind to them when they were being cruel to you, why is that? It was because you kind of agreed with them and you weren't nice to yourself either, right?
Well, it's because I would work out, and I was like, eventually, if I work out harder, because I started working out when I was younger, and
Yeah.
I was skinny, it was a malnutrition, but I still had big legs. I figured, shit, I just had to work harder because I
Yeah.
had the endurance. I had the endurance to work as hard. And matter of fact, I'm looking on the phone here, text. I'm going to show you. I'm going to send the picture here that I sent you from high school, so everybody can see what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Show them what you look
You
like in
know.
high school.
Yeah, I
But
will.
the one of the points that I wanna drive home, Lynn, you and I met, right? You
Mhm.
saw me on the Ken Walls show.
Yep.
I want you to definitely my producer, Lynn,
Yeah.
pop that picture up when you have it available, but I want you to just quickly give a snippet of what you were feeling at that moment in time when I was with Ken Walls and you popped in to watch the show. What was going on with you in that moment?
Well, I had just found out, I okay, so let me go back and say this. I went to the doctors and I had a new doctor, and I finally had a doctor that says, "You're losing weight." But he finally just looked at me and was like, "Your legs are swollen." And I mean, okay, so I've known something's been going on with my body for a long time, okay? Let me just go back and say that.
Sure.
I knew that I had swelling in my legs. I knew that, and I tell people, "Oh, yeah, look how swollen my legs are." But I go to freaking doctor every 3 months. My doctor saw my legs are swollen. He didn't do shit about it.
Right.
So I just was like, "My legs are swollen."
Well,
And
and
I
you
just,
also had gone to several other doctors. No one knew what was wrong with you or just really thought you were overweight,
yeah,
right?
they just call me, oh, you're just gonna have to work harder. Matter of fact, the worst part is when I go to orthopedic surgeon, well, you lose weight because you got to have knee surgery, and it'd be better to do the knee surgery when you
Lose the
just lose
weight.
that weight. And while he happily just would inject me,
Yeah.
and that would be it. And so, it's one of those things where I just give me a second here because
Well, let
I'm
me tell you this. Let's also say that, you know, uh, if a doctor, they don't know what they don't know.
right.
Okay. What you're about to educate people on and give information about is something that maybe a lot of people have currently and they aren't even aware of it. So, Lynn, out of your giving heart, is putting yourself out there and being extremely vulnerable and talking about it to help other people. And you know what? Guess what, though, guys? Whoever's listening to this, she is doing this to help other people, but this is helping her. She's owning who she is. She's putting herself out there and she's loving herself finally for the first time in her life. This is huge. This is huge. Okay. So go back. Do you have the photo?
Yeah, I'm getting that photo here in a second, but let me just go back to the mental part here first. And the big mental part, the big mental part about this first, everybody, is that I wanna apologize, and I'm gonna look right in the camera and talk to myself a second. I wanna apologize to you because I was the biggest hypocrite to you. I was in the belief system that, like everybody else, eat a salad, lose some weight, exercise more. You're just fat. You're morbidly obese and you're just fat. And I'm sorry that you're working. You can do and burn 1,200 calories in an hour. Not even a skinny person can do that. You're flexible and you're double jointed and you can do shit that a skinny person can't do. And yet you are hard on yourself. Do you realize you got a condition that makes you in pain every day, and yet you weren't moving for the last year and a half? You've been slowly dying. You gave up on exercise. You gave up on yourself. You just were giving up on life, and you just said, this is how you're going to die. This is how you're going to go. Get back to exercising, get back to enjoy. Yeah, okay, you're going to get skinny in different places, but guess what? Now, when you get skinny and these legs are bigger, now you know what exercises to try to get that inflammation down. Now you know now you know that you've seen other people that actually got treatments. Now you know someday in the future, when you can get the money together and you can have the surgeries, you'll be able to walk with your grandkids. You'll be able to walk and ride your bike. You were in Milwaukee just 5 years ago, riding on the lakefront until you'd fall off your bike because your knees gave up on you. You can go and do the things you want to do. You can go hike again. You can go have fun. You can talk about health and fitness like you like. You can be and do what you want to do, and nobody can stop you from being you no more. You don't have to worry about the guys that say, you're pretty, you're beautiful, like being with you, but I don't like you because you look fat.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about those disingenuine people. You know?
Lynn,
So,
thank you for
yeah.
sharing this. And I want you to explain to people what you have on your own time. But I think that
So I was a hypocrite to myself,
yeah, you are a
first and
hypocrite to
foremost.
yourself. And I think all of us can take ownership for being hypocrites to ourselves from time to
For
time. But
some reason, I can't.
I say to you today, you are one strong, badass woman. You've been through so much, but you still have kindness and love in your heart. You've turned a page now, Lynn. You're on your way. And why don't you
Okay,
give
so
a
for
little?
some reason, and you know what? Let me just say, this is just the beginning of a lot of different things, you guys. And I'm
Yes.
not going to go there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to share and educate you guys because
Yes.
this is
Perfect.
how, yeah, let's just go to that real quick.
This
And
is what you have.
I have what they call lipedema, but I'm going to start out with this really quick.
I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, and I recently had a follower ask me about this condition, of which I thought was initially a typo, but I decided to do the research and my mind was blown. There's actually several articles published about the condition, and this was my most favorite. Here's an illustration of some of the common findings of what this disease can look like. Here are some of the classic findings of this disease, but what worries me the most is it can affect up to 11% of the population. It's very, very underdiagnosed. Most physicians don't know about it, and the patients are often mistreated. This disease process is also extremely resistant to low-calorie diets. No amount of calorie restriction will allow them to lose weight in their legs. I'm basically doing this as a PSA to educate other healthcare providers and the population about the real severity of this disease.
And
Yes.
you know, I want to show that, and it looks just terrible what you see there. But you know, I've had some conversations with several people that I love them, but they're just as ignorant as I was. And I'm including myself in this conversation. Some people thought, and you know, intuitively, I knew, and I did try to see about getting gastric bypass going, shit, I barely eat.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if I get my stomach done, that fat's got to go away. Like, how the hell can it stay there before I knew anything?
But like you said before, Lynn, and this is what people, and wait a minute, I have a question. Can lipedema affect men?
Very little. And I'm going to get another show where I'll have other people that can answer that. But this is an estrogen thing. This has
Okay,
to
so
do
it's
with
mostly in women. More
Yeah.
in the 11% is mostly of women.
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. I wanted to know that. And additionally, what I want to say is this. There are women out there, obviously, there's 11% who are going from doctor to doctor to doctor, and they're telling them to lose weight, and they're busting their ass trying to lose weight. And they do on the upper part, and then they have, but you know, the weight still on their legs, and they can't understand it. And they go in and out like you did, Lynn, right? Diet, you know, restrict yourself beyond belief, exercise immensely, and then you just get smaller at the top and bigger at the bottom. How deflating is that, right? How deflating, because you do all this work and you can't get the weight off of the bottom. So what we need to do through you, Lynn, is educate these women. This is what it looks like. Now we need to create awareness for this so other physicians can say, wait, and is there a test that someone can take for this?
Well, there's different things that they're trying to do. There's not like a specific test. Some of it's touching and all these different things. But let me just show you that this is what my body used to look like when I was thin. But let me just show you how this has just been a shocking revelation in my life. And mind you, stay tuned, because I'm actually going to show you what I look like now, and that's going to be the hardest part, you guys. But I want to educate you, because I've had some uneducated people say, well, you know, Lynn, I do know some people that had gastric bypass, and that once they lost weight, they couldn't have this. But let me tell you, I'm going to show you some pictures here of some people that have had gastric that are thin, that have this. So don't think because you're thin you don't have this, ladies. Let me show you this. Let me enlighten you real quick.
So this commenter is completely wrong. These are not butt implants. This is called lipedema, which is an abnormal collection of fat in the lower body, most commonly seen in the thighs, the butt, and the calves. She looks awesome.
You see that? Whoops. You see that, people? Yeah. Okay. And then look at this. Look at this. You see?
Yeah.
The thing is the lower, around the knees. That's where you can see it's not portioned right, people. That's how I used to look all my life.
Right.
Okay.
And you were in bodybuilding and sports.
Yes, I was in bodybuilding,
and I gave that up because you said you didn't look the part and people didn't take you seriously.
No. And
let's remember this, everybody. And I'm talking to myself too. When you go along and you wonder, oh gosh, you know, whatever, in any scenario, listen, we don't know what's going on with people health-wise either. So let's just pull back the judgment card and, you know, try to help people instead of being judgmental. So, Lynn, continue. I'm sorry I chimed in there.
I'm going to, this is a 7-second video. It'll blink, but then I've got screenshots of it. But I want to show this because this is a doctor here. Stop. Okay, so he's got right here.
Yeah.
And so he's got here. It says, stop thinking.
Painful fat legs, resistant to diets, is just overweight. This is not about being fat, people. This is about having a condition, okay? And it says most probably it's lipedema, the most neglected disease of the world. So, you know, creating this awareness, this is huge. Yeah. Chronic progressive disease characterized by abnormal fat distribution resulting in disproportional painful limbs. And painful it is, right, Lynn? Because now, what did you say? You were so active, and now you feel like when you go anywhere with any walking at all, you got to use a scooter. And you yourself, you didn't want to use a scooter, and you used to judge people for using a scooter. Not in a
Well,
negative.
no, not judge them. I'd say I don't want to be
You
the
don't want to
chubby
be
girl.
that.
If I'm going to use a scooter, I want to use it being skinnier. I don't want to people say, oh, she's using a scooter because she's fat.
Right. But you have a tremendous knee pain and joint pain.
I can only walk to the back of Walmart walking fine. The day they gave me my handicap sticker, I told the girls I was so embarrassed at 40 something years old and my daughters are like, Mom, they don't know what you're going through. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that reads the directions on a handicap sticker. Says remove before driving. And I do. It's in my freaking visor. I get in the spot and then I put my handicap sticker on there and I walk in fine, walking in the store, and I still feel guilty for having it on there.
I know. Because inside your brain and what you want to be.
Because I am a skinny girl.
You're a skinny girl
in a fat body.
Lipedema body.
And you guys, I'm gonna share here in a minute what I look like. And it's this is as close as I'm gonna get to the bodybuilding bathing suit picture. And I don't know why it's hard, but I was grateful to be in the Grow Live Academy to share this. And I've been slowly peeling the onions and talking about this with a few friends, but this is going to be really hard, but I'm going to let this go. And
yeah, you're going to
on Monday, I did this just so you know, I'm going to preempt this. This is unfiltered on Monday. It's even before I took a shower. My hair looks crappy. I stuck a hat on. I have my compression leggings on. It was snowing out. And I said, I don't give a shit. Lynn, get your ass outside. You're doing this. And this is what I did.
This is a big deal. This is part of your healing journey. This is something you need to do, not only for everybody else to create awareness and educate, but for you to own and appreciate who you are and put it out there. And this is what you're dealing with. And insurance should cover this, but that's another story.
Well, and they're starting to, and I will be talking more with some girls that have fought their own insurance and whatnot. But before I show you that, let me go through some comments. I want to acknowledge some people here.
Yeah, let's see who's making comments. Tammy, did you speak Spanish to those other students who were segregated, or didn't because you didn't want anyone to find out?
You're right. I didn't. I ignored them. I did. I wanted to survive.
Yeah, I understand that. Tammy, wow, you've been through a lot. Hugs.
I love you.
Theodora, I love you. We love you too.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Cheryl, good day, ladies. Hi. Heather Bryant. Hey, Gibby. She calls me Gibby. Loving your positive message. I love you too, Heather.
Thank you.
Yeah. Theodora, yes. Debbie is so right. Heather, I know how you are sharing these stories. It truly opens people up to the realization that they are not alone in their experience and feelings. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. Tim,
Lynn, you are sexy and you know it.
Well, I'm going to say this. This has been the hardest thing, when I've gone on dating sites, blah, blah, blah. Guys think I'm cute from here up.
Well, and your personality is infectious. Well,
and then they see the rest of my body, and it's been a different story. And I'm being honest. Yeah. It's been a total rejection. And that's been the hardest thing, you guys.
Sure. Yeah, because you try to love yourself. And when you're not feeling loved because of your appearance, that's really difficult, Lynn.
It really is. And so, Tim, thank you. But, it's half the story. Ha, ha, ha. Gonna laugh.
Now I have that on a reel in my head. Thanks, Tim.
And what it makes.
And that is what makes Lynn so awesome. Love her.
Thank you. But you know what? I'm gonna be funny and be real. I'm double jointed and I don't have any complaints with who I've been with. That part I do know. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm
Here we
being
go.
raw and I'm being real, but that's the thing. I do know my value. So the assholes and the people out there that really do judge me and don't know what a good person I am and how genuine I am, that's okay. I don't need you in my
Well,
life.
I'm
I've had
glad that
those
you've
assholes.
gotten to that point. I'm
No,
glad you've gotten to that point.
thank you.
Love yourself. Listen, it's all about we want to give others respect
Aw.
and love other people, you know? Theodore, I love you so freaking much. I wanna hug you so bad right now. You know what, Theodore? She can feel it. She can
I
feel it.
can. I can.
But yeah, it's the matter of we wanna listen, it's nice to be kind to people, but if someone's outwardly being cruel to you, you can just let them be, but don't acknowledge them with kind or it's just you
No.
respect yourself, right?
Right. No, the thing is, okay, so this is where I feel why I do genuinely love everybody. Let me tell you why I genuinely love everybody. Because I feel I've been blessed. The fact that I got to love and know and understand ignorant people. Even though I knew that they were prejudiced and ignorant and they thought all Puerto Ricans were bad,
Yeah.
I let go of that to survive, to be around people that didn't know. And I kind of had the last laugh because I was like, you really think all Puerto Ricans are bad? You think all Puerto Ricans are all this? But you're telling me everything you don't like about them, but you love me because I love you unconditionally.
Yes, there you
You
go.
are so ignorant. And my dogs are going to bark here in a minute because somebody's at my door. But what I'm saying is like, I got to love them to say, you know, you told me so much and you would feel so bad. Debbie, you would feel so bad if I told you how hypocrite you are, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't make you feel bad for that. I'm going to
Yeah.
still love you. And it wasn't until Facebook they actually knew.
Isn't that crazy? Wow.
But again, so you see what I mean? Why
Yeah.
should I make them feel bad? Because
No, that's not who you are, and we need
no.
more people like you in the world that will love unconditionally, and you know what? Let them the people who are not kind, let them go just love them from afar because it's just not healthy for you to have that negative energy around you. But what I'd like to do, Len, is I would like for you to how we met and let that be a segue to maybe showing the photo of you currently.
Okay, so let me just say howdy to a couple more people, and then and here's
Oh,
here's
wow.
Sandra.
Hi,
My
Sandra.
Facebook Live supports you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, you guys, thank you so
Pretty,
much.
stay strong. Oh, and
Thank
inspiring.
you. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna share my video. You guys all
Raquel,
ready? You
hi,
guys all
Raquel.
okay? I'm going to share what I look like now, you guys. This is really hard, and like I said, let me
Well,
take that
but we met
banner
on
off.
the Ken Wall show, and
Yes, we
you had
did.
written something to me, but erased it.
Oh,
And
okay. Let me go back to
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
pop that picture up.
Okay. So when Ken Walls had her on the show, Ken Walls, I don't know why I'm really having you on the show. I mean, I don't know, anybody with the fashion, blah, blah, blah. I actually said, she's on the show because I got to meet her because she wrote a book about find your fabulous. And now I found the beauty within myself. And I did love myself because I knew my beauty inside. I just didn't love my outside because I was with the world saying, I didn't know I had this condition, so I couldn't find the compassion with myself. I was just ignorant with the world. And now I know that it doesn't matter how, no diet, no exercise is going to help with what video you're going to see. This is
That's right.
something that I have to have removed. This is something in another show I will explain and whatever.
It
I
is
have
definitely for a whole show.
it's an inflammation I have right now, and there's things I can do to combat some of the swelling and to help with the pain and stuff. But I have to look at this with you guys right now and have compassion to the girl that I see right now and say, that is painful. And I'm sorry you're going through that. And I hope that you get better instead of being the mean, gosh, you're so obese. And
Right.
it's ugly to look at when you're naked. And so no more further ado, because I do hate those damn shows that say they're going to show you something and they take so freaking long to show you.
And another commercial, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. So, and I lost 2 people watching right now, but we got quite a few people watching. So here we go, you
Awesome.
guys.
I'll put
Here
up
we go.
there.
Here we
This
go.
is you.
This
This
is me.
you.
Okay, so this is just raw and real right here. It's cold out. I was planning to go to the rims and do this, but the weather has different plans, so I thought I'd come out here and do this. So here I am, and I'm gonna just do a full body. This is me. This is where I'm at. This is what you call lipedema legs. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. And this is me. And I love me.
And we love you too, Lynn. That is so brave. You're so brave. You're so brave. And this is your first big public statement to everybody. This is what you have. This is what you're going through. And you're strong and you're beautiful inside and out. It's okay. I know it's hard, but this is,
I'm just embarrassed that I wasn't nice to myself.
yep.
Just-
Yep.
And to me, some people that love excuses would say, oh, well, you know, this explains it. I'm happy that I know this and I'm happy, whatever. But the athlete in me, the one that doesn't give up, gave up before I found out what I had.
Yeah.
I gave up trying to go, that I have 40 pounds that you're going to see that I'm going to lose again for the 100th time. And when I do, you're going to see I'm going to be so thin up here, up here. I mean, you're going to see I'm going to be so chiseled. I'll have my 6-pack back, but the rest below me is just a different person.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult, you guys. And I'll have pictures to show you for some reason, God didn't have all my little transformations. I'd always so happy to show transformations. And yet the one thing you'll see that never changed were my legs.
Yeah. No matter
And
what. Once you went
matter
through
what.
puberty, right? And you
Yep,
started, that's when it all
Yeah.
came to be
Yeah.
like, boom,
Yep.
you're
Yeah.
like, what's going on? And you even had your own father,
Oh,
even with him not understanding, say, I don't understand why you're so fat.
Yeah. And my dad, when he,
sad too.
yeah. And my dad, he feels awful because he realizes, you know, I used to go
Sure.
5 miles an hour at the beach with him, and I couldn't keep up with my dad. And, you know, he's 25 years older than me. And then we'd come back, and to open up the gate, I would fall. And, you know, I have heavy legs, and that we would walk on the beach, and I'd be in pain, and I'd be in pain. I mean, for years, since I was 13, anytime I'm standing up for long, or I'd be in pain. This has been my life. And
yeah, and now you can share it with people to create awareness. Let me ask you a question, Lynn. What advice would you give any other person watching your show right now or in the future for if they have anything that's ailing them or any mental issues with their body or their life or whatever? What advice would you give to them to help them have more self-love and accept themselves?
Well, one thing for certain is, being that it's 1 out of 10 women, I would recommend that you go to lipedema.org, and they got little quizzes or information there. And there are many doctors that don't know about lipedema. And the thing is there's a lot, and I'm so glad there's a lot of groups and things that so many people that are having hip pain or whatever. And some people think they have cellulite, and they don't realize it's lipedema. And so there's a lot of education and a lot of stuff I'm going to bring to light going down the road. That's not for this show today. But what I'm saying is, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. My friends will tell you, I would say to them, and you could tell one leg's bigger than the other for me, and they could see my swelling. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, my friends did know that there's swelling on my legs, but we didn't have a name to it.
Right.
And we didn't know that it was getting worse.
Yeah.
So what I'm
Because
saying,
had you have been educated about this sooner,
Right,
it wouldn't have gotten into the level that it is now. You could have gotten something done.
I'm in stage 3.
Yeah. And
And
how many stages are there?
I think there's 4.
4. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're up there in the levels, and now you're going to need knee replacements and everything, because this disease actually causes so much pressure and everything on your joints that most people end up having to have hips and knee replacements. So this is really important to get the word out there, and you're doing this, and there'll be more shows. So stay tuned. I would encourage everyone watching, please follow Lynn's YouTube page. Go subscribe to it. Click on there. That way you can follow her on her journey, and help other people.
Yeah. But so yeah, you know, thank you so much for the love, you guys. And
Yeah, thank
and
you.
I do plan to put that on TikTok, the picture of me, and I do plan to do some more pictures and things of that, you know, and whatnot. I just want to admit that I'm not calling everybody ignorant for seeing heavier people that are heavier on the bottom. I'm not calling that, but I'm calling myself out.
Yes.
I'm the one with pain. I'm the one with everything. And yet
You also said those nasty things to yourself.
yes, you
So you
know,
understand why people do, but it should be really, I never body shame people. I think that's horrible. But I know that you did that to yourself. You didn't do it to other people, but you did it to
no.
yourself. So what I want to ask you is, you know, when you finally started to give yourself some grace, it wasn't until you actually knew what was wrong with you, right? When did you turn around and say, I need to forgive myself for being so mean to myself, and now I'm on this journey of helping and get this surgery or whatever I need to do?
Well, I realized I was being an imposter to myself that, Lynn, you do love everybody. I was like, Lynn, wait a second. You're just as hypocrite as the people that you
Mhm.
know would talk about other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lynn, you're talking about yourself.
Yeah. And you know
You
what?
f-
That's a good point too, because even outside of lipedema or someone having an ailment, how often do we put up with crap? Maybe because we're telling our own selves crap. So it's
That's
like, oh, guess what? That language, I speak that to myself all the time. So you saying that to me isn't like a smack in the face. You saying that. But so at some point, we have to stop with the negative self-talk, right? Which you and I both have written about, Lynn, in our
yeah.
books.
Well,
Both of us have. So when you start to say negative crap about yourself, you need to say, no, I'm going to say something nice about myself, because it truly helps. It really does help your day.
listen, I was the first one to tell people, look, eat a salad or
I
look, get a
know.
supplement. I would
Mhm.
buy freaking supplements. And I've even done videos saying to people, look, don't buy a supplement until you have it in your heart you want to lose weight or eat healthier. But we don't listen to ourselves. Like, you know, sugar is one thing that, you know, potatoes, you know, feed for
Sure.
inflammation.
Right.
Eggplants, you know, feed inflammation. You know, I also have gastroparesis. I have another condition that I thought it was a blessing because there's certain things I shouldn't eat, you
Yeah.
know,
So you
and I
thought,
look,
well, that's good. Now I won't eat that, so I won't gain any.
yeah, yeah, I
And
won't,
now you have something wrong with you.
yeah,
I wanted to ask you too. Um, let's go back just real quick, because I
okay,
want people to understand your personality. Okay. So
okay.
as you had gone through your childhood and some stuff had happened that you kept secret, in your own mind during that time, how did you get through it? I mean, how did you get yourself out of bed and go to school and not say anything to anybody and hold that secret until not very long ago?
You know, it's just like anything else, and I've always said this. We'd have some damn good politicians that are honest politicians
Mhm.
if we didn't publicize that if you did something wrong in your life, oh shit, you do one thing wrong, they're gonna smear you and take you through the damn, they're gonna treat you like shit if they find out what you did or who you are. So, like I've seen when I've seen a girl talk about being raped or anything. Oh, hello. I was the fly on the wall looking at everybody, even with the Cosby. Why these bitches wait all these years to talk about being raped? That's their own downfall. If they didn't say shit, they shouldn't have never said shit. Meanwhile, I'd be like, well, you know what? It takes a long time to get over your shit to talk about your shit.
There you go.
And
That's a good
also,
point.
there's assholes like you that judge us
Yeah.
for not being able to talk about our shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
And, you know, and the sad part is too, that sometimes, you know, we got to recognize this. And I got to say this, you know, I'm all about women coming forward. The sad part is there's a few people who do come forward with non-truths. So
mhm,
then they run it for the rest of the girls who want to
like,
really come through, because then you're like thinking, oh, I need to talk about it. And then somebody comes and lies and
mhm.
accuses somebody of something that they didn't do, which I think is horrible. I hate that. I just, ugh. And then, so then you're then sitting there going, oh my gosh, what if people think I lied and I'm just going to shut up? So,
And I'm glad you say that because I will say this. I could tell you from one victor / conqueror person that's been through stuff, we know that we don't go there in details about the things we've been through because they're hard to talk about.
Right.
And so to put some people out there, there's part of you going, wow, I'm not brave enough. But there's something about, that's why when people look at me and they smile and they go, Lynn, you're real true. Because there are certain things. And even in my book, I don't go in great details because I don't live there. I can't go there.
You go forward. You don't live in the past.
That's right. That's right.
So that's the cue here. When I ask you, how can people get through it and move through it and go, you say, when, you can visit the past, you can't live there. You live in the now and you keep moving forward because it will bring you down. Trauma and pain will bring you down. Now, I'm not saying you can't go and get therapy. I 100% encourage that and getting the help that you need to talk it out. But once you do that, visit the past, move on, learn from it, don't live there. And so that's what you've done, Lynn. You've gotten all the things that had happened to you through your lifetime, you've kept moving forward. I so appreciate you being so vulnerable, coming forward to everyone, showing your body, something that you've always said, I sit behind this screen and from the waist up, people would not know. So you could have continued on that journey, right? But no, you said, no, I'm going to help people and I'm also going to help myself. I'm visiting the past and I'm visiting now. I'm moving forward. I'm going to get this out there to help people and to help myself heal. And then people hopefully will follow you and learn more about this as you continue to get healthier. So do you think this is a wrap, my producer?
Yeah, I think we're going to be wrapped. You did a terrific job.
The first time.
Yeah, you did a great job. I can't wait for you to have your own show.
I'm excited.
Like I said, it's one of those things where if you just, if anything, I needed to do this for myself because I was just so embarrassed and ashamed, not only to share that video of what I look like, but when I go out there, and I mean, Ricky, my old boyfriend, he's on here. I used to go to Milwaukee with him and I'd get on that damn bike and I'd pedal. And he's like, why do you keep pedaling? I go, because I'm exercising these legs. I mean, he could tell you I'd bust my ass. I mean, I wasn't scared of doing anything until, and there was this funny thing. We went on this one little bridge, never been on it. And I was going too fast on the bike and there was swamp. I kid you not, there was a turn. And I was like, oh shit. And I fell off the bike just so I wouldn't go in the swamp. But I mean, and then there was the one time, this is really funny, but down Milwaukee downtown, I'm like, I feel like everybody needs to stop for me. And he's like trying to stop me. And I got the big booty. Okay. We already acknowledged that. And he's trying to grab me because I'm literally going in front of a car that's turning the corner. And he's like, Lynn. And I'm like a jackhammer with the bike on one leg, and just so that I wouldn't go in front of the car. But again, I don't give a shit. I have, it's the athlete in me. It's the, I don't, when I'm in my zone of going to doing things. But again, I'm blessed that I have that strength to do what I can do. But even at that, I mean, it's just too much weight and too much pain. I can't even imagine if somebody wasn't,
strong-willed and already
they couldn't handle the pain that I've been.
So this is going to help a lot of people. And, we need to make sure that people follow you so they can find out where and what doctors know about this disease and how to help it not continue to get worse. I mean, stage 3 that you are. So he's remembering.
He goes, haha, she's like a little kid. Yeah, I am. Yeah. I am. And I don't want to grow up, but that's what I mean.
No. Don't grow up. That's boring.
That's what I mean. I mean, I'm just sad that I wasn't nice to myself. I was even in the back of his motorcycle once and he stopped really quick. And I had like all these jackets and coats on. So because I'm so much smaller on top than I am on the bottom, I look like a Michelin girl. And the bike on the Harley tilted. I kid you not. It tilted.
Like, stay still back there, Lynn.
I did like a cartwheel. I fell off this damn thing and like my hands were by a Honda and I got back on really quick. And he just like laughed because the light was still red, right?
Oh, all
And I
that
was like,
happened very quickly, and you
yeah, it happened
got back
really
in
quick, and I
line.
got back on like nothing, you
Funny.
know? So, I mean, I try to have a good spirit and all that, but again, I just wanna say that, I get it, people. You look at somebody that looks really chunky in the bottom, wow, they're fat and they're lazy or what. You gotta have compassion and realize that they're really suffering. They're
And
really
you know what?
suffering.
And you know what? This compassion for not just the girls who are chunky on the bottom.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
people that even have a lot of weight all over their body
they're
could be
going through
really
something.
suffering with something, right? And, you know, try to help people, not judge people,
Yep.
and also be happy that you're healthy.
Mhm.
I just always feel like I'm so grateful. I always say like a little prayer for people that I see that may be less fortunate than the next person and say, God help them or whatever. It makes me super sad to see people struggling. So I think kindness, compassion, love, but starting with love in yourself. Most people that don't love themselves inside can't truly give love, or they're not open to receive love from other people. If you don't think you deserve that love, you're not going to accept it from people. So,
Right.
get to a place, and I don't know, how to do that for sure. It's been a journey for myself, but you got to start inside, dig deep. And Lynn, that's what you're doing, and you're sharing it
And
with the world.
and I think it is when you finally realize the best friend you ever have is gonna be you,
It's the
and if
relationship
and
you have with yourself.
it's an inside job. And I'll tell you what, Rex's book, and I know you have it, and
Yes,
gifted it to you
yes,
because
I love
it
it.
it's an amazing book. He's really helped me to realize that you can, that,
Live
the
life
past
on your own terms.
terms. And I'll tell you what, to realize that the past is past now, and that we can create and have whatever we want from the past that we want to keep. And I
Okay.
choose to keep all the good memories.
That's where I say we end it, is say
That's
that
right.
again. Right now, today, we challenge you. Today is the first day of your new life.
That's
Live
right.
in the moment today. Tomorrow will be anew. You do what you can for yourself to live your best life from this point forward. Stop the negative self-talk. Do what you want to do. If you're healthy and you can, woo, do it. Let's go.
And how about if I play that video one last time?
Play that video.
Okay. And you've been fantastic. I
Oh,
love
I
you.
love it too. I love it.
Okay, so this is just raw and real right here. It's cold out. I was planning to go to the rims and do this, but the weather has different plans, so I thought I'd come out here and do this. So here I am, and I'm gonna just do a full body. This is me. This is where I'm at. This is what you call lipedema legs. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. And this is me. And I love me. Yep, I forgave myself and I'm moving on.
Moving on, baby. You said
And so,
this is it. This is
yep,
me. I love me.
yep. And so there's parts of me that I can I'm going to work on some of the inflammation, and then there's going to be some weight that I can lose that's going to be thinner on top, but I'm still going to lose that and be a little bit healthier there. And then the journey to get surgery and to actually have some sexy legs someday. So
Mm,
yeah,
there you
watch
go. I'm
out. Watch
excited.
out. Watch
Thank you
out.
all for
Thank
listening
you.
today and watching. Share this out. Share it out. Let people learn and grow. And maybe somebody is affected with this disease and they don't even know it. So share it out. Thanks. Continue to follow Lynn. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. And love yourself, and let's go.
Love you guys. Thank you. God bless. Bye.